Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On The Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna, this is my mom Gina.
He is a journalist.
He's the enthusiast.
I'm a sports enthusiast, and I love when we do sports stories that are also news stories. This one, I gotta tell you, I'm not a fan of it, but we have to talk about it, so let's get into it.
We definitely have to talk about this one. There's really no way around it when it comes to all of the heat and bad comments that we have received and backlash from everyone that has viewed our LeVar Ball episode, where we really just showed our displeasure from all of the things that he said and done up to this point in time. And I really feel like this is now what we're getting ready to talk about today with his middle son, LiAngelo, getting arrested in China. I think this just is kind of a bigger light or a bigger view into really that family and kind of who they are. I think Lonzo is his own person in his own way, but the other two sons directly reflect his father.
100%.
And you can see that through and through. And so let's just get right into this.
Just give him the facts.
And we'll talk about this and break it down here. So LiAngelo and two other UCLA players, Cody Riley, who is from California, and then one of our own, Jalen Hill from Kansas City, Kansas. They are on the UCLA basketball team, and they all got arrested Wednesday morning for shoplifting in China. And it's frustrating because you don't want to see these things happen to young men that are, for the most part, trying to better their lives. Going to college is such a unique time of your life situation, and then to be able to play a college sport, especially at a program like UCLA, is such a gem. To put yourself in a position that they did, it's really frustrating. And so right now there's a lot of speculation to really what happened. Is there video evidence, etc.? But we know that UCLA and Georgia Tech are kicking off their season in China, playing I thought it was an exhibition game, but it's really the start of the season for them, and they're playing in Shanghai. And what happened was they were in a Louis Vuitton store, and a couple of the players, again, Cody Riley, LiAngelo, Jalen Hill, and then a couple of the other Georgia Tech players, they were all kind of just shopping around. They have free time. I experienced something like this when we traveled up to New York. Me and a couple of my teammates were at the Champs Sports Store in Times Square, and we were playing Syracuse during the Pinstripe Bowl, and we had free time to walk around, and some of the Syracuse players were in there too. We said, hey, what's up? What's going on? You kind of keep moving. Well, it was the same situation. They have free time. They're in the Louis Vuitton store looking at stuff, and these three players from UCLA decided to take stuff that wasn't theirs. And so they were, I assuming, were caught on camera because the Chinese authorities came to the hotel of which they were staying at and arrested them and took them to jail. This is a developing story as this really just broke the other day, and we're still trying to figure out what's fully happening. What are your thoughts on all this, and can this get resolved? Is there a good way? Is there a happy ending to this at all? What are your thoughts on all this going on?
Well, I want to first, not congratulate, but I want to say that how much I respect Coach Steve Alford, because apparently, they were staying at the Hyatt Regency in Hangzhou before they left to go to Shanghai for the actual game.
Right.
And the coach went with them after they were arrested. He went with them. Apparently, stayed at the at the prison or jail or wherever, while the kids were being processed. The detention center. But they were arrested. They were processed, and it took hours and hours. Booked in, and they stayed there. And here's the thing: I don't want to put all your business out. Someone very close to you is a prosecuting attorney, and she discussed, the processes.
Sure.
And I was doing a lot of research on this. A lot of people who are familiar with Chinese law. It's not like America where you get in there and you can get on the phone with the judge and get bail or get bail within 24, 48 hours. The average in China is 30 days to 37 days to get bail set, and you're just sitting there while they're doing the charges and trying to get you bail. So there was no guarantee. What they were able to do is get the kids processed through there, and then they released them basically to house arrest to what they're calling a high-end hotel in Hangzhou.
Yes.
And Coach Steve Alford stayed with them that whole time. So I want to respect him for doing that.
Absolutely.
But then once they were released back to the hotel, he went on with his team and they went to Shanghai. You know what they did? They went to Shanghai Disney and with the rest of the Georgia Tech, and they're going to play their game, I believe it is, on Saturday.
Yeah.
Adam, it's just so frustrating. And the way you introed the show, I appreciate it. You gave the facts as we know them right now. But here's my problem. We took so much heat. And when you're on a show like this, you express your opinions. I'm just a mom. Literally, I'm a sports enthusiast. But my son took a lot of heat as a journalist. People called us Uncle Toms and Coons. Why? Because we said we didn't appreciate LeVar Ball coming out doing his stepping and fetching and shucking and jiving act. I appreciate that he's promoting his kids.
Sure.
I appreciate that he's a sports dad and a basketball dad trying to get the best for his kids. It was how he presented himself as a black man.
Right.
And I'm going to go straight here. I'm just going to go in.
Okay.
As black people, we don't have the ability to just go somewhere and show our behind. You don't have the ability to just go anywhere.
Right.
There are stores here where we live, and we're on the suburbs, we admit it, that I walk in and I know people are following me.
Sure.
What do you think is going to happen in a foreign country?
Oof.
The Chinese see black people two ways. I'm just going to go here.
Yeah.
Either as Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and they're big fans. They're all wearing the jerseys, #1 selling jerseys. Our athletes go over there and make a ton of money, or they see us as criminals. And here we have these kids walking around UCLA. They're all 6'10". They all look like they're somebody. And instead of being MJ or Kobe Bryant or Dwayne Wade, they go in there and act like criminals.
Right.
I'm ashamed of them. I'm ashamed for them.
Right.
And no, we don't have all the facts, but I know this. There's a camera everywhere in China.
Absolutely.
And they knew it was 3 athletes. They knew where they were staying because apparently the hotel's next. It's in a shopping district and what have you. So they had 3 Georgia Tech players who fit what they saw on camera. And the Georgia Tech players said, no, that's them right there.
Yep, that's true.
And they went ahead, and Cody and Jalen and LiAngelo had to get arrested for what they did.
Right.
I'm just so disappointed and frustrated in all of this. So that's my first thought.
Right. I echo everything you just said. It's embarrassing to me. That's the first thing that came to my mind was ashamed and embarrassment. And then I just hope that, we understand that, once your kids leave your presence, it's up to them to make the right decision.
That's true.
So I don't necessarily blame LeVar Ball for his son stealing something because he wasn't there.
He wasn't there telling him to do it.
Hand. Right. This is LiAngelo, who's a 18, 19-year-old kid that should know better to steal from a store. He is, a person that is driving a Ferrari, for crying out loud. His family is living in a 16,000 square foot house in Chino Hills with the elevator. What are you doing? That was the first thing that get embarrassment. And what are you doing? Was it that costly to you? Did you feel like you had to steal that? What made you feel like you had to steal right then and there? You're not poor. You're not in a position where if you don't steal this medicine, your younger brother who's got this terminal cancer is never going to survive. You're just being a knucklehead.
You were in there stealing bread because the kids are hungry.
You're not thinking. And so that's where the question is, what were you what were you doing? What was the thought process? And so, again, going now that I am going back to LeVar in this situation, is what have you modeled to your kids as a father, as everyone's granting him Father of the Year of how he's raised Lonzo? Well, how have you raised the rest of your kids? Because what you've modeled is misogynistic behavior. You've modeled that you don't have to be respectful to anybody.
Women.
You can take your ball and actually go home and throw a tantrum
Walk
and
off
say,
the court during a game.
I'm better than you. I don't have to be here. And that has now directly affected your children, your kids. You've got a son, your youngest son, who now you're saying, I'm homeschooling him because it's not because of the education.
Nope.
It's because strictly for basketball and athletic reasons only. And he's not the only dad to do that, but now that's the main reason why he's doing it.
But his reason was because he got the old coach fired because the old coach went, so they brought in a new coach. He doesn't like the new coach and the administration back the new coach.
There aren't real reasons
so now
for him
I'm really leaving.
Exactly. And so now you've got Lonzo in the league. You got him the #2 overall pick. I would have respected the whole situation, if he would have just been done after that, just like any other proud parent, I got my kid to where they need to be. Now I can go on my business and do my own thing. But he's in the headlines week after week after week. And so to me, I do feel like, LeVar, you have part and play in this because your son feels like he can do whatever he wants to. LiAngelo speaking, which is why he stole that merchandise from the store.
Well, the word you're looking for is entitlement.
Yes.
And there's no sense of consequence. When you don't stay and finish a game, if the calls aren't going your way, part of the reason we do sport is we learn how to win, but we also learn how to lose. We also learn that life isn't fair. Sometimes the ref is going to be giving you bad calls, but you stay there and you fight it out. What he's taught his kids, I don't like it, I'm going home.
Yep.
I can do what I want. There's an entitlement factor there. Again, we don't know all the facts about it, but I know they walked into a store and left with stuff they didn't pay for.
And what makes it, or go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say my last point because the United States president, and you don't have to like Donald Trump, but right now he is the president of the United States, is on an Asian tour, and he's going to be coming into China. And instead of our best and our brightest being in China showing our highest academic standards and our highest athletic standards, we got 3 knuckleheads who are going to have the American president have to have that hanging. That's the headline all over China now. Trump's in town and UCLA kids are stealing. What just where's your pride in anything? Thank goodness it's not poor Barack Obama.
Exactly.
So that we got a black president coming in here and black people stealing.
Mess. Exactly.
It's absolutely an embarrassment and a shame. And to hear LeVar Ball, his direct quote, if I may give it to you.
Yes.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Everybody's making a big deal. There ain't no big deal. That was his direct quote out of his mouth. It is a big deal. And number 2, you don't know that he'll be fine.
Correct.
You hope he'll be fine. You believe he'll be fine. But there's no guarantee. The prosecutors in China, 99.3% success rate in prosecuting cases. There's no guarantee this will be fine.
This is not America. This is not a progressive country to where, hey, we're in London or we're in France. No, this is China we're talking about. China.
All right, I'm done. I'm going to let you have the last say.
Honestly, that was really all I was going to say is the entitlement, thinking that everything's good, no worries. Instead of him saying, I'm disappointed in my son's actions, we need to make sure that this never happens again. I take responsibility for what he's done, and he needs to take responsibility for what he's done. No, he's making things that seem like they're better when they're really not. And it just doesn't make any sense.
Can we stop with the Father of the Year, please? Michael Wilbon, I want to give him full credit. He said, I'm a black father, and I'm not him. Please quit holding him up as the only example of black fatherhood. Quit giving him a pass for being a good dad.
Your youngest brother drives a Lambo, you drive a Ferrari, and your oldest brother is the number 2 overall pick in the NBA draft. What are you stealing sunglasses and watches for?
Because nothing good has been modeled to you. Nothing good has been modeled to you.
Well, this is a developing, ongoing story, as we've mentioned.
And let's pray that these young men do get to come home
safely. Again, there's no guarantees.
There's no guarantees here.
But I hope everyone has learned a lesson. Let's get off of this LeVar Ball and the Ball family train. We're done here.
We're done.
All right, folks. We'll see you again.